Hey fellas, how's it going? Just drinking my second cup of coffee. See here, I got my to-do list. I've already woken up, drank my coffee, and I have pooped. Okay, so now it's time to be awesome. I don't know if I'll get that last one done, but this may be a little bit of a longer video. What I'm doing now, since I got my P51 done in natural metal finish, I kind of got the natural metal finish bug. And I have an extensive library of books in my collection. Metallics by AK. I've got this book. I've got the Encyclopedia of Aircraft Modeling Techniques. And the, I don't know what this one is. It's a Weathering Aircraft for Metallics. I've also got, this is one of my favorite books, the FAQ book. A little bit different styles in each one. This one really isn't my style, but it does have a lot of good information in it. But anyway, I've got a couple kits. I got more than a couple kits in my stash. I'm not sure why I bought them, or I don't know, it was just a good deal, and I bought them early on when I started modeling again, that are kind of crappy kits that I really wouldn't seriously build. I don't know why I've got some of them, but this one, this was sent to me by a guy that I'd build planes for, and I was going to use it for a MiG-15 UTI conversion. This is the Hobbycraft MiG-17, and this is actually the wrong kit that he sent me for the conversion that I did, so I had to go buy the other one, but he said I could keep this one. This isn't something I would normally build. It's an older kit. It's kind of it's not a very good kit at all. But I thought, you know what? Now I'm picking my nose. It itches. I'm not really picking boogers. It's itching. But anyway, I thought I would build this one. It's pretty easy build. I mean, there's not much to it. But I would do kind of like a boneyard display with it. And it could almost act like a paint mule slash, you know, just a fun build. And I would get to use some of the techniques that I haven't used before to try to weather up a metallic natural metal finish paint job. So that's what this video is about. And I've got a pretty good start on it. This is what it looks like. Basically, I really wasn't too concerned about the building of it. I did clean up the seam line, the main seam lines along the halves of the fuselage. This plane goes together. It comes in two parts. It's got the rear fuselage and the front fuselage, and you can make it so you can pull apart and have the engine showing. I didn't really do much with cleaning up this seam line here. I wasn't too concerned about it. But I kind of quickly put it together and sanded it. It's got a really coarse finish on it. The plastic, it's pebbly. It's got like a pebbly texture. So I tried to do my best at sanding that off, and then I coated it with a Mr. Surfacer 1500 black. So I got like a matte primer coat on it, and then I took Alclad aluminum, Alclad white aluminum, and put Alclad white aluminum on there. Took a little bit of regular aluminum and kind of went over inside the panel lines. You can't hardly tell. There's a little bit of variation. And then I took some darker colors and kind of shaded in some panel lines, which it's not real noticeable at first. And then I just picked out some different panels and painted them with like a gunmetal texture or a gunmetal color. So I've got a good base to start with my weathering, and I wanted it all matte because it's going to be one of those things where it sits out in the sun and you know, gets weathered and and just deteriorates over time. And I wanted to see if I could replicate that. On the canopy, what I did is I painted the inside, and I know there's Tamiya tape on there, but you can kind of see the color. I took a desert yellow and painted the inside of the canopy to get that like a plexiglass that's worn and faded and discolored over the length of time that it's been staying out in the sun. So I got all my base aluminum down, and what I did next is I took some hairspray, just regular hairspray, and I put a couple coats of that on there. And this is where we're going to begin the video. Is I'm going to take some gray color, some like Tamiya gray, and I'm going to see if I can get a look similar to, where we at? This one on the bottom, this picture on the bottom. Basically, I'm going to take gray and spray it over there, and I've got the hairspray down, and then I'll take some water and then see if I can try to mimic that look. And I've got pages marked, especially in this book, where all the things I'm going to try or you know, try to do and see how it turns out. So you guys get to learn with me. So let's get to spraying. What I'm going to do is I've got some XF19, and I'm going to mix it pretty thin. And I've got my 2 layers, like I said, got my 2 layers of hairspray on. And there's a dropper. I think I'm just going to mix this with isopropyl alcohol. It's not going to give it, in my experience, and I may be wrong, but in my experience, if you mix it with IPA, it just doesn't bond as well. So I'm going to mix about maybe 60-40, 60% thinner, 40% paint. I've got my air pressure set pretty low. I like to keep my air pressure low. I just seem to get more control, and it gives a little bit better finish because I have to mix my paint a little bit thinner. All right, so I'm gonna try to vary the, and you're learning with me. I'm not, this is some stuff that I've never done before. So I'm just gonna go over this. Put it on a little bit thicker in some areas, a little bit thinner in others. You almost can't, it's not real noticeable right now, but I think once I start to paint chip it, I think it might show up. And in my experience, these kind of things, they may look subtle when you first put them on, but once you get all your other weathering techniques on, it all kind of combines into a look that you're wanting. I didn't explain that very well. I'm not very good at explaining stuff. I'm just kind of going over randomly and just having fun. All right, I think that's probably good enough. The video may not pick it up, but with the eye you can definitely see there's a difference. So now what I'm going to do is just let this dry. It's probably close to dry anyway, but I'll switch my camera around and we'll get out the water and the brushes, and we'll see if we can't get it to where we want to get it to. So. Okay, I got my water. Finish is pretty dry. It's actually not bad. It's on there pretty good. One thing I'm kind of concerned about is I'm going to paint some letters on the side and try to paint the star and the Vietnamese star and bar insignia on the side. And I'm wondering if tape will peel this off, because I know it can be kind of fragile, especially on a natural metal surface. And I haven't overcoated this with a clear layer yet. This is all done on the natural metal finish, and it looks like the tape won't pull it off, so that's good. So I got my water out, and I keep my weathering brushes separate from my regular brushes. So let's start off. It's been my experience is hairspray will really start taking it off if you get too much. So I just got a little bit of water on here. Maybe a little bit more than that. I'm just going to go a little bit at a time. Kind of let that water soak in. And I really just kind of want a random effect. I don't want to get it all off. That's going to be pretty good. One thing I've noticed with this hairspray, and I don't know if it's just the hairspray that I'm using, this brand, but it like pools up on the model. And so when you go to take it off, it almost, I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not, but you can see right there, right along here, like where it pooled up, and right along here it takes it off in some areas where I guess the hairspray was thicker. But I kind of like the look of that. I'm going to take a rag. Oh yeah, that's looking nice. That looks good, fellas. And that looks good. Not exactly what it looks like in the picture, but it's still coming out with an effect that that I'm going to be happy with, I think. Looks like I got a little bit of masking tape still left in there. Okay, I'm going to continue doing this over the whole plane, and then we'll be back. Okay, I've got, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint some numbers, and I got these cut out with these masks cut out with my Cricut. And I'm also going to paint the insignia. You can't really see it in the video, but because my frisket's clear. And I'm going to paint the top of the tail fin red. I'm going to try to fade it out as well. And I don't have a clear coat on this. It is just on top of what I had done, and I got all my chipping done. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a pretty good look. It isn't exactly what it looks like in that picture I was trying to replicate, but it does give a nice oxidized appearance to the aluminum finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some red here, and again I'm going to use IPA. So I got some flat red. And I'm not gonna put down a solid coat because I'm gonna chip this red off of here as well. And hopefully my hairspray underneath will aid me in that chipping process. Put my lid on every time I get a, you know what I wanted to do? Yeah, never mind. So let's put our red on here. And this frisket seems to want to pop up. It doesn't stick on here very well. I kind of detacked it just because I wouldn't, seemed a little stickier than the Tamiya tape. So I'm just going to kind of hit it heavy in some spots. And lighter in others. Let's see that. Okay. I am going to mix a little bit. Let's see if we can get a little bit more red on here. I'm going to come up from the bottom. See if I can get a little bit more red on the numbers towards the bottom. So they kind of look like the top has got a little bit more worn than the bottom. And I don't know, I may hit this. Kind of hard to get in here. I'm just gonna lightly do the star and bars of the VNAF. Just a little bit. We're totally fading that out. And one reason is because my Cricut, I don't know if my blade's dull, but it doesn't seem to want to cut real fine detail on this frisket. Let's kind of rip this off so you can see what this looks like. Okay, and then we're going to chip that so you can see the numbers. Okay. I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow with this red and a little bit of white. We can get a little bit of a faded look to it. With red, you almost don't want to mix white, it just turns pink. So I'm going to try a little bit of yellow and see how that works, along with the white. So now maybe I'll have a pinkish orange, you know. But we're doing experiments, so this is what we're gonna do. Alright. That's gonna be a nice color. Okay. Along the top. Kind of fade it along the middle. Leave it a little dark around the bottom and the edges. It's kind of randomly. All right. I'm really not too concerned. The tape doesn't seem to be peeling up any of my previous paintwork, so I'm not. And even if it did, I'm not real concerned about it because I'm wanting to wear the heck out of this anyway, so it's not like I'm... Okay. Peel this up. What I thought about doing is like where the numbers are, hitting that with like a brighter metallic. just kind of wanted to give the impression that there was a painted on insignia here on the side, because the NMF is yellow and red, and rather than painting the whole thing, I just kind of wanted to leave the impression that it had been there, and the yellow had all peeled off, and the only thing that was left was the red. All right, now I'm gonna chip this up and see how well this chips with the hairspray still underneath. All right, so I'm getting my bristly brushes out, and we're gonna chip away some of this lettering on here. You can see this. Yeah, we might need to do a little bit more. So we can zoom out. I'm going to take my toothpick and dig in and get a few more scratches randomly. What's nice about this acrylic being on top of the natural metal finish is that it doesn't stick real well, and you can just scrape it off with a toothpick. Come in here. And one thing I've also found, we can get some Vallejo airbrush thinner, and I can put some on a Q-tip, and this will slowly take off that red. So if I wanted to fade it out some more, I basically take some of this off. If I use like a harsher thinner, it would totally rip it off and probably get some of the paint underneath. But this Vallejo thinner is pretty mild. I think that's about where I want it right there. See that? Cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of it. And then I will probably put on a clear coat and then start some other weathering techniques that I've never done before.